Welcome to the Wandering Tangent Review. I'm BJ, with me is Jeff and Gary. And today we're going to talk about the 2016 sci-fi action-adventure Star Trek Beyond. Or I guess we're going to review, and then we'll talk about it on the long-form discussion on the podcast proper.
Now,
I'll get this right sooner or later.
All right, so everybody knows that I'm the Trekkie of the group, but BJ's also, he watches Star Trek, likes it. I think Gary is probably not as much of a Trekkie, but we all kind of know it-ish. But this, I don't think was a movie that any of us had really seen. I'm suspecting that is true. And
I had...
Yeah. Oh. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Didn't know if you had started to review proper.
No, go ahead. I want your wisdom, BJ. Go ahead.
I had not seen it. I had not really intended to watch it because I didn't really enjoy, what's it called? Into Darkness, the second new Trek. So this was not on my to watch list, shall we say.
Yeah. So this is an adventure as we get into this. My review is that I gave this one a -3. Obviously, as a Star Trek purist and a real snob of all things Star Trek, it doesn't measure up to me at all. There are a few people out there who like the action-y part of it, but to me, it's simply just a comic book show. It is an action comic book show. If this was an animated thing, maybe, but I gotta say, the storyline, it flopped, and the characters, again, flop. There was some attempts, though, so I'm not gonna give it the all-time evil score of -5. It deserves more than that. It's got action in it, and it's got a few scenes that if you ignore the absurdity of it, there's an emotional side to those scenes, which is fun and entertaining. So, slightly entertaining, but to put this as a Star Trek show to me is like putting a mustache on the Mona Lisa. It just doesn't belong. But that is my review.
Okay. Guess I'll go next. So I also gave it a negative, not quite as negative as Jeff. I gave it a -1. Referring to my notes really quick. So yeah, it was just kind of an extremely cookie cutter action movie. I mean, there wasn't much of the plot. You know, you have the MacGuffin, the bad guy gets the MacGuffin. The good guys need to get the MacGuffin away. The bad guy wants to destroy the universe for reasons, and the good guys obviously wanted to keep him from doing so. And like Jeff said, it is a action flick, and by and large, the action sequences are okay. There's a couple of times that it's like you got shaky cam going in like this one hand-to-hand fight scene, and as everyone has come to more or less agree upon, close combat shaky cam's not very good. There was a couple of times in the ship-to-ship action that I kind of lost track what was going on. Like it's weird to say in a space movie, but like the geography of the action scene lost me or whatever. And like I guess the acting was fine. I can't think of like anyone's performance that I saw. I'm like, oh well, they didn't do a very good job. It was more of a script / plot thing for me, and like even just judging it as like an action flick, it didn't really, like, I guess most of the scenes were good enough, but I was more annoyed watching it than anything because the plot was just super paper thin, I guess. And And I guess kind of like Jeff, fair or not, with something Star Trek on it, I kind of expect a little bit more. Like at the very beginning, I even wrote my notes like, oh, it looks like there might be some deeper themes that they are going to try to explore in this film, and then they don't. They go for the bang bang zoom zoom, and bang bang zoom zoom is okay, but I've seen better. And bang bang zoom zoom under a Trek banner is like under Star Trek banner needs to be, if you're gonna go for it, I mean it's possible. Like there's like Wrath of Khan has action scenes, First Contact's pretty actiony, but even then they do manage to go in and explore the deeper themes. And I'm probably a little biased because, like I said, I'm not terribly in love with the new Trek timeline or whatever, but I think I gave it as fair a shake as I could, so -1. Gary?
Okay. I think I'm going to tick off both of you guys with this one then.
Oh, you liked that, didn't you?
So,
I was not expecting that if that is the case.
Jeff, you're right in that I don't watch as much Star Trek, though you are wrong in that I actually have seen this one before.
Oh, okay.
What I gave this one was a 0.5, which I know is going to just spike BJ's blood pressure right there. But, so part of it, so, okay, I'm going to go into it in the review later. Okay, I'll just go into the review of why I gave it a 0.5, other than to say that I'm not as big of a Trekkie as you guys are, so vaguely entertaining movie, even if it is forgettable, should not go into the negatives for me. You know, obviously you guys are, feel much more for the Star Trek than I do, so that's probably might be your biases talking, which I can fully understand. So I'll just leave it at that. And just also to say, I have my reasons for scoring it. Probably scoring it higher, and I might even have scored it a little bit higher than that. But no, I'm just going to leave it at 0.5.
I mean, if you have your reasons, this is the review portion.
No, the reasons will take a bit longer to discuss, and I want to say
it's a long discussion, a long form discussion.
Yes, a long form discussion, which people or the audience should listen to coming up here in a minute.
On a separate episode.
Yes.
So not like literally, just sit there in a minute. You hear more of us, unless we're still talking like a minute. Who knows? Anyway, so just for the record, and I'm not like updating a sheet or anything like that. So -1 for BJ, -3 for Jeff, and 0.5 for Gary. Yep. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So, not exactly a ringing, not exactly a profound endorsement all around.
Though generally, it's not recommended unless you really love your action flicks.
Except for Gary, who kinda recommends it.
I guess kind of 0.5 recommends it.
He didn't feel totally about it. He's like, but anyway. So yeah. Very not recommended by Jeff. Not recommended by me, and a extremely lukewarm recommendation from Gary. So yeah, if you want to, so that's going to be all for the review. If you want to hear us really dig into the nitty gritty of this particular movie, and knowing Jeff, probably some sort of 10-minute long tangent about Star Trek in general, join us for our long form discussion at the Wandering Tangent podcast, probably on the same feed you found this one on. And if you want to listen to that, we'll see you over there. If not, we will see you next time for whatever we review. Considering the fact it's December, it's probably going to be something Christmassy. Bye.